some of the more recognizable faces that have worn our brand: Jamie Foxx, Giannis Antetokounmpo, NBA MVP, James Harden, Floyd Mayweather, champion boxer, a lot of hip hop artists as well. They've of course been a huge help to the brand's success.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Welcome back to today's episode of the My Future Business Show, the show that gets you in front of your best audience and keeps you there. My name's Rick, I'm your host, and today we are going to be touching base with the wonderful Eli Ziad. How are you, Eli?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks a lot for having me on today.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Now, I know you've had a very busy day and we've got a lot to get through in a relatively short amount of time. So I know that you are the co-founder of fashion celebrity brand habits365, and you started this with your brother Spencer, and we'll touch base on that for everybody who's on the show in a moment. But before we do that, where are you calling in from today?
Yeah, so I'm calling in from my apartment in Miami. I currently attend the University of Miami, so I live off campus right now. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, fantastic. And if you don't mind, what are you studying?
I'm studying entrepreneurship.
And that's no surprise to me, I have to say. Now,
Yeah.
now, when you were much younger, what was your first taste of entrepreneurialism? When did you know that you had the itch for it?
Yeah, I mean, like when I was super young, I was very into sneaker reselling, and that was like the first thing that really got me going.
Yep.
If that sort of makes sense,
Yeah, yeah.
and pretty much flipping the shoes and just like buying shoes and reselling it for a profit made me very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it stemmed from.
Yeah, fantastic. And I often wonder what it must be like to working with a sibling in such a successful business. What was that like? What is that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something you don't see very often.
No.
Meaning, it's not like I mean, well, family business is definitely a thing, and it's definitely a popular thing. However, like it's just not so common that you see that.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that we made it work out is probably remarkable to most people.
Yeah.
And just like having someone that you're close with and running a successful company with them, it's sort of like it can be enlightening to some. Just like getting stuff to work out with a family member. It's just it's I find it pretty cool. Yeah,
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 that's great
that's
feedback. I love it, because I have siblings and oftentimes we have, challenging conversations, disagreements, call it what you will.
right.
Do you ever find that those things still happen?
Yeah, no, of course they still have. There's always disagreements about, designs, about like what should we release,
Mm,
like sort of stuff. Not that it's silly stuff. It's definitely important stuff,
mm,
but it's more so just like the what direction we want the brand to move in, and
mm-hmm.
sort of what what we see for the brand, and just those little decisions that have to be made
Yep.
for the betterment of the brand, if
Yep.
that sort of makes sense.
Absolutely. Now, you talked about having an entrepreneurial streak in your family. I'd love to touch on family as it helped to form you guys into to the young men that you are today. What important family sort of experiences can you share about your journey?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like it's not like I saw one person and was like, I want to start a clothing brand or anything, but
Mm,
my family definitely, they support me in the way of like they're always they're always supporting my brand, and always just kind of keeping me in a positive light
yep.
just with my brand, even if I make a mistake with the brand, still just always positivity around me,
That's good.
which obviously
Yeah,
helps a
absolutely.
huge amount.
Now,
And yeah.
we always talk about mentorship and having people around us to help us learn more about business. Do you have anybody in your life that's helped to shape you into the person you've become professionally?
Yeah, I mean, so the main help that I've gotten has really just been mentorship, in terms of like even my grandma and grandpa, they're always saying, oh, like you should do that. And you know, it's some of it is like kind of repetitive things, but of course it's awesome always getting this positive reinforcement from others. Oh, you should make this design. You should make this design, do this color, this color. But yeah, no, it's definitely always good to have people around you that are supportive of you. And although it sounds obvious, there's a lot of people in toxic environments
Oh yeah.
when they're in a sick. And I'm not saying I'm the most successful brand in the world. We're not by any means,
No, but you're well on your way.
but yeah, exactly, exactly. Hey, I hope so, but I appreciate you saying that.
No,
Yeah,
look,
like I said, just always people around you and your family members around you supporting you. That's a huge, huge help.
you hold some very good company. I'd love to talk about that in a moment. Now, I wonder, where did the name Habits 365 come from?
Yeah, so pretty much so like I was kind of saying earlier, I always wanted to create a clothing brand. So
Hmm.
the reason I thought of habits is because I wanted to think of something that can relate to everyone in the world. So I thought of habits because obviously everyone has habits. However, many habits are bad habits. I have a
Mm,
lot. No, I don't have a lot of bad. I have some bad
I have
habits
few.
still. Not as many as I had when I started the brand. And I know that sounds a little corny, but it's really like I thought that there would have been a brand right now called Habits that is a clothing brand, and I did all my research. I was like, wow, there's no
There
brand
isn't.
called Habits. Like, what's going like? Am I researching enough? I'm like, because it's such a catchy name,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And 365 at the end just adds like it's like an enhancement. It
yeah, yeah.
it just sounds so good together,
Absolutely.
and yeah, that's sort of how I came up with it.
Yeah, that's it's wonderful, and I wonder, could you share a little bit about the mission because you use a lot of sayings and anecdotes and lots of those types of things. Could you share a little bit about what your mission is because I know it's important to you.
Yeah, so our mission is to inspire others through the encouragement of positivity and good habits year round. Because at the end of the day, your habits determine your success, your future, and your well-being as a person.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is the better, and although it sounds way simpler than it is, it's really not because it takes, I don't know if you've heard of the 2190 rule, but it takes 21 days to form a habit and 90 days for it to become your lifestyle.
Mm.
So it takes a while to kind of build these good habits and make it your lifestyle. So it's really just we want to make people feel good about themselves when they're wearing our clothes and when they're not wearing our clothes. But our clothes should serve as that constant reminder to practice positive habits
Yeah,
year round.
that's wonderful feedback. Now we have a lot of startup entrepreneurs and existing small to medium sized business owners, as well as book authors, might I add,
Mhm.
who listen into the show, and they take a lot of information, a lot of value away from your story. So I'm wondering, when it comes to risk, how did you manage risk, and was it an easy transition for you when you knew that you were going to take such a massive jump forward?
Yeah, so risk is definitely like a huge topic to talk about, and because like you have to take risks in life to be successful,
Hmm.
and without risks, there's no mistakes. So basically, that whole process, I was so afraid to make mistakes early on, which held me back from a lot of different things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I was focusing too much on the mistakes I'm making rather than the lessons I would learn from those actions. And that was definitely a bad habit of mine, but I realize now that taking risks is paramount to success. You
Mm.
need to take risks. I'm not saying like go and
Do,
walk on the
do
tightrope
crazy
over.
stuff.
Right, right. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying reach out to the person that you want to work with you if they're even if they're so famous, just do it,
Just do it.
and different things like that. And risks can mean, I mean, risks have a lot of different levels to it, but I've taken a lot of risks, and I'd say for the most part it's been beneficial
Yeah.
because of how much I've learned from these mistakes, which is one of the reasons I started a clothing brand at 15. I'm only 19 right now, so
Yeah. Wow.
it's like if you really put it into perspective, I want to try to give reasoning for me starting at such a young age because it's not 15-year-olds aren't really supposed to start clothing brands. It's a
Yeah.
very like
What a
it's a
story though. What a story though. That's a great
yeah,
it's a
I
great entry.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder, Eli, if you could share with us what your day looks like. Are you an early riser? I suspect you might have to be.
Well, okay, so I should be an early riser, right? Like I really should be, but a lot of times I end up waking up late, and that is honestly a bad habit of mine. Um, but I try to get up pretty early and just sort of write down my schedule for the day, the tasks I need to get done at hand, and sort of what and the really good part about running an e-commerce brand, which is I can be anywhere running it.
Yeah.
And pretty much it's all about the time and the effort. And really what a good habit I've built is has been the schedule making. So with this adjusting of the schedule, it's allowed me to have a lot more time in my day
Mm-hmm.
to get certain tasks done. And these tasks I can probably count them on my fingers, but these tasks are a lot of it's time consuming tasks for habits, but it's never one day I have to do one thing, the other day I have to do another thing. It's very spread out and dispersed, which is something I really like about running an e-commerce brand.
Yeah, wonderful feedback. Thank you very much for sharing. Now, I know that there's a lot of celebrities involved here, and you use social a lot, and I'd love to talk about those things individually. So I looked at your Instagram, for example, 300,000 plus followers on
Mhm.
there, and, how important is social for you, for your brand?
Yeah, I mean, social media is the whole thing. With social media is the way we grew on all ends, and because it's an online store brand, we have to have a online presence. An e-commerce brand needs to have an online presence, of course, because
Yeah.
people are buying this stuff online, right? And that's really how people are going to shop for us. They find us online. And I mean, in these days, social media rules the world. So it's not like I mean, I haven't seen someone read a newspaper in years. Like
No.
little quirks like that,
Yeah.
I haven't seen. So everything's just based on social media. So for us to have a really good social media presence is a huge plus.
Yeah, thank you very much for this feedback. I'm loving this conversation now.
Yeah.
In terms of celebrity exposure, I think it's a common question you would be asked. How is it that you connect with such major influences in society? And can you share some of the names with us?
Yeah, sure. So pretty much the whole process with these influencers was really getting first of course getting them on board, getting them to wear the brand, but that takes a lot of work. So for example, I would DM them, send them a DM on Instagram, saying my name, saying my message, what I'm really trying to do, what I'm trying to achieve, what the goals I may have for the brand, and that's really what I was doing with them. And
Mm.
then I kept hearing responses from them. I'm like, oh my God, they must love my brand. And then from there, this started years ago too. From there, I've been able to grow my way up and up and up to the bigger names that you probably seen. And yeah, it's just like an onward ladder that has kept growing. But some of the more recognizable faces that have worn our brand, Jamie Foxx, Giannis Antetokounmpo, NBA MVP, James Harden,
Hmm.
who else? Floyd Mayweather, champion boxer. A lot of guys like that. A lot of hip hop artists as well.
Yep.
And yeah, they've of course been a huge help to the brand's success.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, they've really been like I said, they've been a huge help, and it's really it's really been a huge contribution to our growth and to our really our long-term goals. Getting them to wear it makes other people want to wear it.
Yep.
If a celebrity supports a message and they have a large fan base, they're going to get people to wear the brand. They're going to get people involved in this sort of community.
It's just going to flow on, isn't it?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
when you talk about flowing on, and building communities, it seems to me that obviously social is the basis for all of that, and you've obviously got a strategy. I'm wondering long term, and given the fact that we're living through a pandemic, I don't know how much that's affecting you locally and your brand. Do you do much, I guess, community building locally? Is that something that you do?
Yeah, so of course with COVID and the pandemic, it's been hard to do in-person events. And just because I'm in college right now, so it's a little hard to sort of make the time for a socially distance or just some event with safety involved.
Yeah,
Um, However, when things get a little better, we want to try to do more community work and do more for cities or for just for people in general, getting people to build better habits because that's
that's
the
what I'm
whole
talking about.
goal. But a lot of what we have done has just been on social media for the most part, and yeah, that's really been our main driver so far, and Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Those are our social
Yep.
medias where we're promoting this message, and yeah, I'd say that's probably my best guess
Yeah, no,
for
that's excellent. No,
yeah.
I wonder for those who are starting out and they are struck down by fear, is fear something that you had to overcome? And if it was, and even if it wasn't, what would you say to those who have fear controlling their mindset?
Yeah, I mean, fear is definitely a prevalent thing in today's society. Everyone's always scared of making mistakes
Hmm.
and, not wanting to screw up. But I mean, fear it's a normal thing. It's something we all go through at one point or another. We don't want to make mistakes. We don't want to be, gullible. We don't want to be it because it's embarrassing.
Yep.
Being scared can be embarrassing to some, but for me, I really never had fear just because I know what this I know the levels which this brand can reach, and I know that I really think it can be one of the biggest brands one day. So my like the fear factor for me has been has I'm really not scared of anything anymore. I jumped in this world years ago,
Hmm.
and it's I'm already in the adult world, so it's like I know what to expect at this point in time,
Yep.
and it's just it's pretty normal for me now. I like I said, I know what to expect, so I'm not the fear factor doesn't really play a big role on me. However, for others that are listening to this,
Mm.
I'd say to get rid of fear, you just have to take a deep breath and not worry so much. Think about the lessons you're going to learn from those endeavors that you may want to encounter or may want to become part of. Because at the end of the day, like life is about learning, and in order to learn, you have to fail.
Yep.
In order to fail, failure comes from being scared. It can come from being scared. So
Mm.
you just have to learn how to fail more. If that's,
Yeah.
I
No, that's
know that sounds negative,
no, no,
but
no. I get it. No,
it's
that's wonderful.
literally,
Now, I
yeah.
know that Habits 365 is on a very, very good trajectory all the way upwards, which is fantastic news. Now, I know this is a very early stage for you. You started at 15, you're 19 now. I'm wondering, what have you learnt thus far as it go as being an entrepreneur goes?
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of things that I've learned. However, the main thing I've learned is you have to have people around you, sort of like I was saying earlier,
Mm.
meaning you have to have if you're gonna have a business, you need a team because a lot of people want to do it by themselves. But Steve Jobs, all those huge CEOs and entrepreneurs, they all have a core team around them of people they trust and that support their message and want to help grow their business. But you have to realize you literally cannot do it on your own. It's not scalable, it's not possible, and yeah, it's not something that is easy to do because there's a lot of untrustworthy people out there, so it's hard to find those people, but once you do find those people, the process becomes way easier and you're able to grow more and learn from those around you.
So, in terms of scale, you just touched on that momentarily. I wonder that first day that you push the button to order stock. I guess where do you hold it? Operationally speaking, is it just on an order basis?
So Scott, you're talking about inventory, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, the whole inventory process is essentially we found a screen printer a while back, some overseas and some right now it's all in the US because
Yep,
of shipping and
yep.
and sort of the the difficulty of shipping. Shipping's hard. I know it doesn't sound hard, but it is hard.
But it is hard.
Just getting the right price, getting the right, the right dimensions, the right weights, and
The quality.
yeah. So yeah, so that's basically we're in a fulfillment center currently, so we don't all of our stuff is outsourced, which is
Yep.
really good for us for scaling. All of our stuff is sent from a fulfillment center right slap in the middle of the country, which is in Michigan. So it's like perfect for because
Beautiful.
all the shipping costs is relatively the same.
Hmm.
So that's sort of where we stand with shipping and with distribution.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Because I know online, I don't know, is this a custom made website experience? Is it WooCommerce? What is it? What's the platform
So the platform for our company,
for
or
your company?
yeah, so we're totally based through Shopify.
Right.
I don't know if you're aware of Shopify,
Yes.
but it's probably the best. It's the best for e-commerce. They have many features to enhance your website.
Hmm.
Their super customer support is super engaged. Like you always get the help you need at the time. And yeah, that's like that when we joined Shopify, that's where we went from here to here. We took a huge step just because of how nice that they can make your website look.
Do you have, you talked about having a team before. Is that, do you have people locally with you? And if you don't
Yeah,
mind, are there, how many
yeah.
other? I mean,
So the team is about 20 people, all under the age of 26. So
oh,
it's a
wow.
really young crowd of people, which is I find kind of interesting. And yeah, this team consists of either people we found on Upwork, mutual friends, or obviously like my brother who
Hmm.
or I run the company with. But yeah, this team is obviously a very young team, and yeah, it's people all around the country, and it's fully remote as well.
Yeah, that's great. So, with a young team, do you have fresh ideas? And where else do you get your ideas from? Are you observing other brands?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the ideas all generate from us. I mean, we like inspiration, but at the same time, we're in our own lane. We're a very different brand than others.
Yep.
I feel like the positivity that we promote is really different from other brands, and it's not every day that you see a brand constantly promoting positivity, constantly promoting, this knack for wanting to improve people's lives.
Yeah, you know what? That's what really stood out for me when I was going through the information that I'd received on the brand was that, hang on, these guys are not only just pushing product, they actually have a mission and a vision for the organization. They're actually involved in helping people, regardless of wearing the brand or not. They are there to, help society. And I think right now is such a relevant time to be focusing on that because people are struggling. Have you found that you're getting feedback from people who are struggling?
Yeah, so we've actually had a lot of ambassadors that have come to us with their stories and with their hardships that they've been through, and they've told us that our brand has been able to help them understand what their habits are and the bad habits that they have, and not saying that we're changing their lives in
Mm.
every aspect, but
But
certainly a big aspect of their lives is being changed because of the message that they're getting from us and sort of the willingness to want to change your life for the better.
yeah, you can always learn something from people around you, and I'm glad that you're on that mission now. Let's shift our
Exactly.
focus, if you don't mind, Eli, onto your website in terms of new arrivals. How does that all work? Tell us a little bit about your new arrival
Yeah,
section.
so we used to do drops based on seasons, but now we're doing more drops based on weekly insights. So essentially, we saw a pattern that people tended to buy more often and be more engaged with the products when it's released on a daily basis and weekly basis rather, a 2 week basis. So February 1st and then February 15th, we're doing a drop the 1st and the 15th. Now we're really doing that more often. We're doing this constant dropping of items instead of whole collections because I feel like whole collections kind of can overwhelm some people just because I don't know there's when online shopping is not the easiest, especially when you're trying to when you're trying to just buy one item and you're
Yeah.
seeing so many items you like and then you decide not to get
I want
anything.
all of them.
Right. And that's really part of the reasoning and the, the rationale for this sort of this type of dropping,
Yeah,
if
that
that
makes
kind of makes sense.
absolutely. Do you do seasonal stuff or like event stuff like Thanksgiving and things?
Oh, we don't do as much of the holiday gimmicks type of thing.
Mm,
We really want to be very different. And what I mean by that is not really we don't want to hop on trends because I feel like trend hopping is not good for creativity, just doing
yep.
stuff other people are doing. We want to be very different. So we don't really release that sort of apparel
Hmm.
that like we're not going to have a Halloween drop because it's not our brand.
It's not you.
We're a fun brand, but we're not like, you kind of know what I mean by that. We're not
Absolutely.
very, yeah,
And that's wonderful because the majority of time, and we've spoken to some other brands that do this type of thing, and they are looking for that festive thing, and they're following trend, and it's a bit run of the mill, isn't it?
exactly. And it's not our brand either. So that's super important as well to
Now,
really think about.
I've been looking at your stories page, and it's a very interesting concept. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so our blog posts feature a range of people. They can either be ambassadors or models for us, or just really people we know that want to tell their story through our website. And what I mean by that is pra- positive habits they're practicing to make themselves better, a step-by-step log of what they're doing to improve themselves every day, and really just really stuff like that. That they want to tell their story to the world or to whoever's reading the blog, and when our goal, like I was saying, our goal is to inspire others. So how are we going to do that without promoting stories that real people are telling about their real lives?
That are
And
relevant.
I think that's super important as well.
And is that what you've called the loop?
The loop, yeah, that's our blog on our
Yeah,
website.
fantastic. And probably one of the most important points for I think for me is the Conscious Minds podcast, which I've had a listen to and enjoyed very much. Now, I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah, so the Conscious Minds podcast, brand new. We launched it 4 months ago, so
Love
that's
it.
been really good for this. Like I was saying, the promotion of positivity and good habits. And like I was saying, we're a different clothing brand. I don't personally know a clothing brand that has a podcast, so that really that really stands out in a way. And we're always having special guests on talking about positive habits and positivity through these people and through talking to them. And you know we want to teach life lessons to our viewers and to our fans and the people who buy and wear our apparel.
Yeah, great. I hope you keep that up because podcasting is certainly a journey. It's a well worthwhile one. So yeah, congratulations on that. Now I'd love to,
Appreciate it.
given that we're getting to the pointy end of the call, Eli. I was wondering, from a shopper's perspective, when they go to your website, which I'm hoping that you can share some more details on, what is the process for those who have not really experienced e-commerce like this before?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a newer thing that people are doing because a lot of people like to buy stuff online. So, I mean, the first step is launching a website and kind of creating a platform for you to display a service or a product or whatever it is that you're doing. And, Shopify is a big help, and I highly recommend using Shopify because their customer service is outstanding, and
Mm-hmm.
they help a lot with what you want to do with your site. And they provide the help that people need.
Yep.
And that's the stepping stone. That's the first step right
First
there.
step.
And
Yep.
then from there you create social medias, you word of mouth, and all of the stuff that you would think to do. It's that obvious
Is that
how you
obvious?
jumpstart it. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Well, let's shift focus to the actual customer, which is what I was referring to. When they come to your website, is it a very seamless process of buying? And can you talk us through that experience for the customer?
Yeah, it's super seamless on our website. So you just type in habits365.com and everything's super easy. We have a kids selection, we have men's, women's, fitness, everything you're looking
It's
for.
all there.
Yeah, our brand is athleisure, so you'll find shirts, tank tops, shorts, hats, whatever you want really. Um, Sports bras, all hoodies, and hoodies are probably our
Yep.
most popular item just because who doesn't love a hoodie?
Who doesn't
Uh,
love a hoodie?
exactly, and that's really our brand, and yeah, it's super easy to buy, and there's always discounts on the site. Um, Yeah, and and our Instagram as well is habits_365. Everything's habits365. You can look us up on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're on all those platforms, so you can definitely check us out there.
Yeah, wonderful conversation, Eli. And for those who are on the call with us today, I'll be making sure that the links are made available below the post. In fact, no matter where you find this interview, which will be shared across our wide distribution network, you will find links back to Habits 365. And Eli, with that all being said, what a wonderful conversation. Thank you so very much for joining me on the show today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I hope this was fun for both of us.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.